Oh, okay. Yes, I know I haven't uploaded in time, but leave me alone. Shut up. Cool. So Solar 3.0 dropped. My current solar build mostly evolves around the Monte Carlo and the sun braces. Essentially, you can get unlimited grenades for 5 seconds. This is really good if you know how to use the grenades and how to apply them in different scenarios. So you can use it just for big AoE damage, or you could use it as defense. It really depends how you play. But let me walk you through it. So we're still rocking Dawnblade. If you want to be more, I'd say, team oriented or like helpful to your team, you can run Well of Radiance. I'm not going to because I can solo shit. Still rocking Healing Rift. Strafe Glide, if you want, you can rock Phoenix Dive, but I don't feel it's that practical. Incinerator Snap, this is what turns you into Roy Mustang from Full Metal. If you use this, it's not as effective as using the Celestial Fire. Like, it's less consistent with getting kills, but it's cool, so we use it anyway. So, solar grenades. Out of all the grenades, this is what works with the sun braces, and we'll get to that in a minute. We got Heat Rises. Consuming your grenades lets you fly for a brief moment, and the more kills you chain into it, the longer you have this effect for. And then Touch of Flame. This is where it kind of links into the solar grenades. So without this, your solar grenades last about 4 seconds. With this, your solar grenades last about 8. So when you get 5 solar grenades, you can imagine that it starts giving you a lot of damage. For the fragments, Ember of Searing, Ember of Eruption, Ember of Beams, and Ember of Wonder. You can change these up for whatever your playstyle is, but this is just what I'm using. So for the Monte Carlo, this exotic, dealing damage with this weapon increases your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee with each kill. Essentially, for this build, we want to have our melee up as much as possible, which is our R1. The more we R1 and kill enemies, the more grenades we get, and you just cycle it each time. Monte Carlo is not the best assault rifle by any means. It's only got 50 range, but it is decent for this build. Callus Mini Tool. Now, you can use any other solar weapons. I find this one to be the most useful simply because it has incandescent. Defeating a target spreads scorch to nearby enemies. The more powerful the opponents, the larger the radius is. Essentially, you can get your melee back with just this, and I'll show you the mods for it as well. But if you run into enemies that you can't kill within one clip, it'd be better to use the Monte Carlo to get your melee back. But if you have a lot of red bar enemies, you can just use this and it's fine. And just and you want both of these to be solar. Any solar rocket launcher you can, but it will work if you want to use like a machine gun, linear fusion rifle. Just make sure that everything else is solar. It's going to be purely solar. I won't go into too much detail, but I'll let you look at what my stats are, the stat spread. Bang, bang. So with the changes to the season, the best thing to have stat wise is resilience. That gives you a 40% damage reduction in everything you do. On top of that, even though it doesn't say it, having overload rounds will give you an additional 25 when you have that weapon equipped. So unless you're doing like I don't know, like a dungeon or something that requires unstoppable or anti-barrier, it's good to just have this on anyway, even if you're not using an assault rifle or an SMG, because it will give you an increase in your damage reduction as well. Even though we only have a 61 strength, you're still gonna get kills on red bars. That's enough to get kills on red bar enemies. And on top of that, the mod we have is Final Blows with your powered melee spawns elemental wells. That's then just gonna boost whatever damage we do with any solar weapons. So even though Monte Carlo has nothing, we still have the Callus Mini Tool and we still have Ascendancy. Lastly, Sun Braces. Here's where the build gets kind of OP. So every time you get a solar melee kill, this grants you unlimited solar grenades for a brief time. It says for a brief time, it's around about 5 seconds when you activate it, so you're gonna get 5 solar grenades. But with the fragments we had before, those 5 solar grenades are gonna last 8 seconds. Yeah, so in terms of your playstyle, you can spec this out however you want it, to be fair. Like if I was to redo this again, I'd go a little less into recovery and a little less into discipline, and put the rest into strength and intellect, just to get my super and to get a bit more damage on the melee kills. But 61 is enough for like low to medium content, and even high level content. You'll just have to do a bit of damage with your gun and then finish them off with your melee click, and then that's what that's what will chain your multiple grenades. But I'll drop in a few examples of how this actually works.